A massive black bear, driven by hunger, ventured into the city in search of food, rummaging through trash bins. When it couldn't find what it was looking for, it went even further, breaking into a house. The residents, face to face with the enormous bear, were terrified and immediately fled outside, quickly alerting the authorities. When officials arrived, they planned to calm the bear with a tranquilizer dart and safely return it to its natural habitat. But after the dart was fired, something completely unexpected and incredible happened. A hungry bear can be one of the most dangerous creatures in the wild. Although they usually prefer to stay away from humans, when food is scarce, they may venture into urban areas, rummaging through trash bins and even entering homes. This often leads to a clash between the natural world and human civilization. In Alligator Point, Florida, such an incident occurred. A massive black bear, having wandered away from the Osceola National Forest, descended into residential areas in search of food. The neighborhood was thrown into a panic as no one could predict what the wild animal might do. The bear, hungry and agitated, followed its nose and entered a house, making it potentially even more dangerous. Realizing the danger, the residents quickly contacted the authorities. When officials from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission arrived, they knew they had to find a way to remove the bear from the area without harming it. The safest solution was to tranquilize it and return it to its natural habitat. But things didn't go as planned. When the officials fired the tranquilizer dart, the drug didn't take effect immediately. The massive animal panicked, and in its confused state, began thrashing around. The terrified bear bolted toward the shoreline and plunged into the cool waters of the ocean. But this was just the beginning of a much greater danger. Using tranquilizers is always a last resort for wildlife protection teams, but in this case, there was no other option. If this massive bear had panicked and encountered a human, the consequences could have been far more terrifying. Black bears are among the most powerful and impressive creatures in nature. While many people think of them as slow and clumsy, they are actually incredibly fast and agile. Black bears can reach speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour and can easily climb slopes too steep for humans to scale. With their powerful jaws, a single bite can crush a bowling ball. Moreover, their claws are sharp enough to tear apart a human body in one swipe. They can grow up to 1.8 meters tall and weigh 250 to 300 kilograms. Despite these intimidating features, black bears generally prefer to avoid humans. However, due to the destruction of their natural habitats, wild animals are increasingly venturing into urban areas. Just like this bear, the officials were doing everything they could to ensure the bear's safe return to its natural habitat. But everything unfolded very differently than expected. The 181-kilogram bear, terrified, began to flee. But it wasn't running toward the forest. It was heading straight into the deep waters of the ocean. Panicking, the bear began to swim, quickly moving away from the shore and uncontrollably drifting into open water. It swam a full 6 kilometers without stopping, but its condition was deteriorating by the second. As the tranquilizer began to take effect, its legs grew heavy. Then it struggled to move its arms. Soon, it lost all ability to move. Flailing in the water, it began to sink. It was on the verge of drowning. Just as everyone watched helplessly, something no one expected happened. Before we continue this incredible story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos. You can also support us by sharing this video. From the crowd, a man quickly stepped forward. Adam Warwick, a biologist with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Without a second thought, he jumped into the water. As people watched in horror, Adam began swimming rapidly toward the massive bear. The bear had completely lost control and was about to drown. But Adam, despite the danger, didn't hesitate for a moment. Battling strong waves and heavy currents, he swam all the way to the drowning bear. But that's when things got even more dangerous. About 30 meters from the shore, the massive bear was fighting for its life. The tranquilizer had rendered it unable to move, and it couldn't even keep its head above water. But it wasn't fully unconscious. It was instinctively thrashing to survive. And that's exactly why the real danger for Adam was just beginning. The 181-kilogram bear, in its struggle to stay afloat, instinctively tried to cling to Adam. But in doing so, it was pulling him underwater. Adam, however, refused to give up. Even though his own life was in danger, he wasn't about to let go of the bear. Realizing the situation, the rescue team quickly sprang into action. They arrived in a boat and threw a rope to Adam to help him. With their assistance, Adam managed to swim the 181-kilogram bear all 30 meters back to shore. This was an incredible feat of physical strength and endurance that most people couldn't achieve. And throughout the entire ordeal, the bear wasn't fully unconscious, occasionally thrashing and making Adam's task even more difficult. After a long and grueling struggle, Adam emerged with only a few minor scratches, successfully surviving this life-or-death battle. By the time they reached the shore, the bear was completely exhausted. Its body was barely moving, and it could hardly lift its head. But at least it was alive and safe. Adam, despite facing the risk of drowning multiple times, emerged from this incredible ordeal with only a few minor scratches. It's truly extraordinary for someone to take such a huge risk to save a wild predator. The other officials on the scene quickly sprang into action, but moving such a massive animal from the shore wouldn't be easy. Carrying a bear of this size by hand was nearly impossible. So they carefully lifted it with a crane and placed it in a special vehicle. The bear's health was immediately checked. Fortunately, it had no serious injuries, but the effects of the tranquilizer were still lingering. It was taken to a rehabilitation center to fully recover and regain its strength. After resting there, it would be released back into its natural habitat in the Osceola National Forest. No one knows how the bear will feel after this ordeal, but at least it's safe now. After the incident, Adam spoke about his heroic actions. He said he never expected anything like this to happen when he arrived, but in the heat of the moment, driven by adrenaline, he didn't even think about the consequences before jumping into the water. Without a moment's hesitation, Adam risked his life to save a wild predator capable of killing him in an instant. His heroic act will go down in history. Moreover, carrying such a massive bear in the water was an almost impossible physical challenge. But Adam, without a second thought, risked his own life to save the drowning bear. Could anyone have done this? Whether wild or domesticated, all animals deserve to be rescued when they're in trouble. Sometimes it's a small, helpless creature, and other times it's a powerful predator that could harm you. But a true hero chooses to help no matter the consequences, and it's truly inspiring to know that there are still such brave and fearless people in the world. Because saving a life, no matter the species, is always valuable and meaningful. Would you take such a risk if you were in that situation? If you have any unforgettable moments with animals or a story of rescuing one, share it with us in the comments. Please don't forget to like the video, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe to the channel.